There is a Kenyan economist who said something very powerful.
Every person is looking for a job. Every meaning, almost everyone, majority. Because once you join those people who are looking for jobs, you have joined part of the problem that is facing our economy. And it means, therefore, you are not part of the solution providers. Even me, when I graduated from KU, and I called, that is my undergrad, and I called for a lunch to celebrate my degree later in that day, the prayer I had for my parents and the people who attended is when they go back to Muranga, niliwaambia, you go pray for me not to get a job. Because I knew when I get into that trap of getting a job, then from there, I start living in fulfilling other people's dreams, not my own.
This is something that I have been telling you on this channel again and again on a daily basis. If you check all my videos, I have been encouraging you on this, what he's just saying. Stop searching for employment, start your own business. And in this case, agri-business.
If you desire to live a life that is above average, it is very highly unlikely you'll do it while still employed. Because whatever amount of salary you may be paid, whatever math you try to do with it, it can't get you out of the road of equilibrium.
Let us be honest. Employment today is something not of security. It is no longer security, but a trap. You wake up early, work hard, build someone else's dream, and at the end of the month, your salary is already planned for. Rent, food, transport, and you are back to zero. No freedom, no growth, no control. But here's the truth that most people ignore. Agribusiness is the escape hatch. With just a small space, a few chickens, or even a simple organic waste, you can start generating income almost immediately. Think about this. Poultry farming, egg production, broilers, black soldier, fly larva. These are not just side hustles. They are scalable systems. You start small, you can grow into a serious business within months. And in this video, we are going to break down exactly what this Kenyan economist has just said. And more importantly, I will show you practical and real opportunities you can start with the little capital even today. This is not theory. This is a blueprint. If you are tired of surviving, then stay with me until the end of this video, because this might be the video that will change your life starting 2026 and forever.
There is a day I had my friends, I was hosting them, and we had a chat about business. It is actually less than a week ago. And one of the friends told me that they want to join or they want to venture into agribusiness, into agriculture. Agriculture. Then we talked over a cup of tea, not even a cup, maybe a pot of tea. It was more than a cup. Then something profound came up. As we think about business, do you realize many of us don't think deeper than the superficial? Just don't even think about your neighbor, think about yourself. Do you realize many times we talk about venturing into a business, we also don't want to get tired thinking. We want to do a business for various reasons. One, to make a product which I can sell to my church members, on my fellow Rotarians. They sympathize with me and they buy my product. That's one of the reasons. Secondly, I met this friend of mine in my club, and he's doing agriculture, so I also want to do agriculture. I met my former classmate in the university, and they are doing very well in selling cars from Japan, so I want to sell cars from today. By the way, acheni kujifanya sophisticated. But just look inside of yourself. Try to think about any business idea you've ever thought of. Then you see, where was the source of that business idea? Try to think. Does anyone want to try? Yes. Which was it? Which business? What? Aha. Clap for her. Anyone else who do want to try? In fact, you've given me one of the points that I want to deliver. Yes, my sister. Leaders, viongozi. So, Leaders Manufacturing Company. Very good. Another one? Baskuja. I actually wanted that. That's the one I wanted. Yeah, you can go. By the way, you can go. Even when I was coming here, I knew all my examples will be here. Now, what are you doing in dairy farming?
Well, very interesting question. What am I doing? I saw an image of another dairy farmer and I picked it up, tried it. I'm struggling. I am now trying to renovate it. Yeah.
Don't even go. Now, this is not a political meeting, is it? It is a business to help each other, including myself. That is exactly the same discussion I had when I was talking in that meeting I'm talking about. And I want us to be sequential. My brother is in dairy farming. Got it from a friend, because you can't get it from an enemy. From a friend. Now he's doing it. Has been struggling, but out of that struggle, he's trying to remodel it. That is it. Do you know something? As we do business, and this, if you forget about anything else we talk about this evening, you remember about this. If you think about business, don't think about business in abstract. Think about business by following and studying two things: supply chain and value chain. You remember those two things. Supply chain, that's why I said that my sister there captured what I needed, because if you noted her statement, she said from here to here. That's the point I wanted, from here to here. Now, agribusiness or agriculture, whatever name you want to call it. My brother is here so that you look at him as a lesson. In a good manner. Because, take for example agriculture. What is agriculture? We confuse agriculture. What we do is farming. Farming accounts for only 25% of agriculture. There are many value chains within agriculture. There is farming, which constitutes inputs and the labor and the land and the tilling. All that is farming. Then, depending on where you are adding value, there is transportation, there is logistics, there is warehousing, there is packaging, there is blending, there is brokerage, there is retail, and before that there is wholesale. Before you get into a plate, all those are value chains, all those are supply chains. Now, as you do business, my brother, the dairy that you are doing today, the point I want us to carry home is this: don't do a business just because you heard somebody else is doing it. Do a business because you have engaged your mind also. If currently you are employed somewhere, you are earning a salary, do you imagine you are paid by that bank you work for to think every day and work with your heart every day? So you are paid to engage your mind and the heart every single day, 6 days a week. And the other day you are left in one day where you can't think about anything else. It's about the same work on Monday. So We never have time to even think. That is, I was trying to be diplomatic, but I'm just saying we don't use our mind correctly. Why? When you hear about dairy farming, think about how much money are you sinking there? 1 million, 500,000, 200,000, 50, 3 million is a lot of money. Where can you get 2 million shillings in 1 week? Not many places. So what am I trying to say? Why can't you take even a whole week to think? It sounds very funny, thinking, but we never do most of the time in business, because we just copy and then tunasomea bele, na kusomea bele ni kuchoma pesa, na kuchoma pesa is actually losing money. So when you think about agriculture, always think, where do I want to play? For example, in the entire chain of agriculture, my brother, you can see that's enough lesson now. Take his dairy. Dairy is what? Milk. There is a cow. There is milk. There is feeds. There is yogurt. There is mala. There is Kenyan market. There is export market. There is cheese. There is all that.
This guy is a Kenyan economist and also a member of parliament. And according to him, employment is not just a job. It is a quiet surrender of your dreams. Because every morning you wake up not to build your vision, but to fulfill someone else's dreams. Your energy, your time, your brilliance, all poured into an empire that is not yours. And then there comes the harsh reality, the salary. Very predictable, controlled, but limited. He calls it a low-level equilibrium, a place where you survive but never truly rise. This is where your income is capped, your growth is restricted, and your future is quietly negotiated for. You work harder hoping for a breakthrough, but the ceiling does not move. It was so designed, and that is the tragedy, that your salary, no matter how consistent it is, will never be powerful enough to make you break the systems that is you are contained in.
Be honest.
So everything you've said is actually correct. I started a farm and I hadn't thought about the supply chain and value chain. So I brought in 23 cows from Githunguri, and then I realized that I don't have food. I should have brought the food first. So you start struggling on creating the food source, and it becomes another problem. Then you realize that you are selling, but you could get more on value addition. Then now you start buying equipment, but then you realize that you don't need to even lease land. You'd rather have your own land, because the food becomes too expensive. So everything you've said, I am the best example you can.
I think you are the guest speaker today, not me. because the lesson you've given us is precisely what I wanted. My brother, supposing you thought, would you have done things differently?
Definitely not. I would have thought about the specific place I want to go in. So right now, for example, I would rather grow hay and just sell hay, which is the food, and not do the cows. Secondly, I started without having invested in equipment. So for example, if you look at the plowing, the hay balers and all that, if I had my equipment, every time I used to lease in a baler and a shredder, it's like I was buying the supplier of that one equipment every time. It was more expensive to have it rather than having it. So I would invest in equipment and not grow the cows and do that. So those are the lessons.
You have finished my speech. If you are here and you are not learning anything, it sounds very easy when you are hearing. It only sounds important when you have lost money and time. Now, study the value chains. You may realize whatever thing you want to do. Unataka kutengeneza mabati. You want to be in agriculture. First, ask yourself, agriculture in what? Plants, animals. Okay, 2. Which animals? Cows, goats, rabbits, chicken. Do you want to be in meat business? What meat? And you have not yet invested anything. because you're engaging your mind and just doing survey, which costs you nothing. Other than when you've already sunk your money and you're learning in the process, you become defensive. You know, when you invest money, you stop learning. You start being defensive. You start justifying why you did it. You know, I had to buy these cows. No, don't be defensive. Be like my brother here, so that you actually learn. Then what do you need to learn by seeking your money? So it's important you think supply chain, value chain. Why do you do that? You realize two things. Where you have higher volumes, but also where you have larger margins. For example, in dairy, anyone can own a cow, but not everyone can own a small cottage manufacturing company or value addition. My brother, by buying 23 cows, he had capacity to actually install his own brand of yogurt, his own brand of UHT milk. He had that capacity. And if we gave him the mic, because now he has learned the hard way, he would tell you there is more margin there than there is in owning 23 cows. Then it is important to study the value chain and supply chain early, so that you know where are you fitting in for your own reason and for your own capacity. When you have capacity to play in a league where you have a higher margin, then why are you playing in a different league? And that league, I keep repeating, the league of higher margins is already secured by barrier of entry, nothing else.
And here is where it becomes even more interesting, because yes, there are countless agribusiness opportunities that I have always urged you to explore. Beekeeping, fish farming, goat rearing, pig farming, poultry, maggots, fruit farming, vegetables, dairy farming, mushroom production, greenhouses farming. The land is not empty. The land actually is full of opportunities. But the economist adds a powerful twist, a shift in thinking that separates survival from true wealth. He says, don't just enter agribusiness blindly. Understand two concepts. That is the supply chain and the master, and you have to master the value chain, because that is where real money is hidden. Listen to him here.
What is it? You see, guys, what I'm talking about, value chain, supply chain. Real estate is what? Do you know how many areas you can play? Number one, you can be a developer. You can be a large seller and buyer. You can be an agent. You can be a tech person within real estate. You can be a manager of other people's businesses or establishments. You can be a supplier of construction of materials. It is a huge play. Now, let us take some subcategories. Now, you say, oh, I'm a developer. Developer of what? And why did you decide to go there? You can develop a flat. Then, as you develop a flat, where? My brothers and sisters, I'm asking you these questions because I know I'm one of you. We don't ask ourselves these questions. You build a flat because I was given a plot by my father. You build a flat because the circle I belong to was selling plots in Kitegera, so I bought. I am building a plot. Why? You know, in our local shopping center, there are no plots. Why are you building a plot? I am building one in Siaya because I come from there. You don't do business because you come from a certain place. You do business to make money. So let's go back to real estate. You say, I'm a developer. What are you developing? Or what can you develop? You can do a residential flat. Okay, where? All these questions must always be a flat. Where? I have a plot in Githurai. I have another one in Roiro. I have another one in Gong Road. Why are you developing in that specific place? You need to engage your mind and do some empirical, figure-based, data-based decision making. Higher. No, I'm building a commercial property. What is commercial to you? Shops? A mall? What is it? Why specifically that one? What else can you build? You can build actually a data center. The biggest force of real estate in the world will be in data centers. Why? AI uses 8 times energy or power that a generative AI like ChatGPT uses 8 times of energy than the one the normal search engines use. So what does that mean? Out of AI, the world is in need of data centers. That is why you see in the US, all the multi-billion companies, almost all, are investing in humongous data centers. My good people, that is still real estate. So whatever you are doing within real estate, why are you doing it? You need to ask yourself that question and provide answers. Within real estate, again, I'm an agent. Agent of what? Connecting a buyer and a seller. Why can't you be an agent of materials? Because an agent is an agent, or a broker is a broker. Why must you always do land? How long does it take to actually close one transaction? Okay, you can play around margin. Oh, it's higher margin. Okay. How long actually does it take to close a large business, to sell one as a freelance agent? Ask yourself these questions. Now, there is something else you can do within real estate. A contractor is also within real estate. Contractor of what?